Hey there folks, welcome back to another exciting episode. In this video, we're diving into the wacky and wonderful world of finance. We're talking about something called Tokenizing Real World Assets, or RWAs for short. It's a concept that's shaking up the financial world. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds about as exciting as watching paint dry. But hold on a second. Trust me, this stuff is way more interesting and potentially lucrative than it sounds. It's like discovering a hidden treasure chest in your backyard. Imagine if you could take something tangible, like your grandma's house, bless her heart, and turn it into a digital token. This isn't just a fantasy, it's becoming a reality. That token would then represent ownership of that asset. It's like having a digital deed. You could buy, sell, or trade it just like a Bitcoin. The possibilities are endless. That, in a nutshell, is the basic idea behind tokenizing real-world assets. It's a revolutionary way to think about ownership and investment. Next time you hear about tokenization, remember, it's not just tech jargon, it's the future of finance. Let's hand it over to Tiff, where she will tell us more.
So how does this whole tokenization thing actually work? It's a fascinating process that combines technology, finance, and a bit of legal wizardry. Well, it's a bit like turning your grandma's secret cookie recipe into a mass-produced snack food. Imagine taking something unique and personal and scaling it up for the masses. You need the right ingredients, a solid plan, and a clear vision of what you want to achieve, and of course, a whole lot of legal paperwork. This is where the lawyers come in, ensuring everything is above board and compliant with regulations. Essentially, tokenization uses blockchain technology to convert the ownership rights of a physical asset into a digital token. This digital token represents a share of the asset, making it easier to manage and trade. Think of it like this. The token is like a digital deed to your grandma's house. It's a digital representation of ownership that can be easily transferred. It proves you own a piece of that asset, just like a traditional deed or certificate of ownership. And just like a deed, that token can be bought, sold, or traded. This opens up new possibilities for investment and ownership. But before you start tokenizing your collection of vintage Beanie Babies, let's break down the process step by step. Understanding each stage is crucial to successfully navigating the world of tokenization. The first step is figuring out what you want to tokenize. Not everything is a good fit for this process. You want something with inherent value and a clear ownership structure. Think real estate, fine art, or maybe even a fleet of those adorable little clown cars they cram people into at the circus.
Now, this is where things get a little tricky. Navigating the legal landscape can be daunting, especially when you're dealing with something as innovative and complex as tokenizing real-world assets. Tokenizing real-world assets isn't as simple as slapping a QR code on your forehead and calling it a day. It's a multi-step process that requires careful planning and execution. You need to make sure everything is legal and above board. This involves consulting with legal experts who understand the intricacies of both blockchain technology and traditional legal frameworks. That means navigating a complex web of regulations and compliance requirements. Each jurisdiction may have its own set of rules, making it essential to stay informed and compliant. Think of it like trying to get a permit to build a treehouse in your backyard. You need to follow specific guidelines and obtain the necessary approvals. Except, instead of dealing with your grumpy homeowners association, you're dealing with the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, which has stringent regulations to protect investors. And instead of a treehouse, you're building a multi-million-dollar digital asset ecosystem. This requires a deep understanding of both the technology and the legal landscape to ensure success and compliance.
Once you've got the legal stuff sorted out, it's time to create the actual tokens. This is where the blockchain wizards come in. They'll use their technical magic to mint digital tokens that represent ownership of the underlying asset. Think of it like this. Remember those old-school tokens you used in the video game arcades? Each one of those tokens represented a certain amount of gaming goodness. In this case, each digital token represents a piece of the underlying asset.
Now that you've got your shiny new tokens, you need to keep them safe. This is where asset custody comes in. You need a secure way to store and manage those tokens. This could involve using a specialized custodian or relying on secure blockchain-based solutions. Think of it like finding a safe place to store your grandma's prize stamp collection. You wouldn't just leave it lying around in your unlocked car, would you? If your answer is yes, please disregard this entire essay and seek professional help.
Once you've got your tokens safely stored, it's time to distribute them to investors. This could involve an initial coin offering, a security token offering, or a more traditional private placement. Think of it like throwing a party and handing out slices of your grandma's famous apple pie, the one she keeps under lock and key. Each guest gets a slice, which represents a portion of the deliciousness. Now for the fun part. Trading. Once those tokens are out in the wild, investors can buy, sell, or trade them on secondary markets. This is where the real liquidity and price discovery happens. Think of it like the New York Stock Exchange, but instead of trading shares of Apple or Amazon, you're trading tokens that represent fractional ownership of a Picasso or a timeshare in a tropical paradise. Last but not least, we need to talk about compliance and governance. This is the boring but important stuff that ensures everything runs smoothly and legally. This involves setting up clear rules and regulations for how the tokens are issued, managed, and traded. Think of it like having a rule book for a board game. It might not be the most exciting part of the game, but it keeps everyone on the same page and prevents anyone from cheating.
So there you have it, folks. Tokenizing real-world assets is a complex but potentially revolutionary process. It has the power to democratize investment opportunities, increase liquidity, and unlock trillions of dollars in value. But as with any new technology, it's important to proceed with caution. Make sure you understand the risks and regulations involved before you start tokenizing your grandma's house. And remember, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, unless it involves your grandma's cookies. Those are always a safe bet. Subscribe for more tasty tech tidbits.